It just hit me that since it's not raining, I really should take a picture of the place I'm staying, which is called the Annie Mae Lodge, to commemorate a lady named Annie Mae, who was originally from the coal mines in West Virginia and got married and moved out here. And it's really a beautiful spot. This is certainly a place to get away from it all, and as some would say, chill, which is very appropriate. Beautiful up here. And this is the other side of the road. Prime forest. I asked for a key to my room, and I got a look, and I realized we don't use no stinking locks here. And I rented a car, and I was told that when I turn it back in, take it to the airport, I said, what do I do with the keys? I'll leave them in the ignition. This is a really cool place. This is downtown Gustavus. I found that, like in the area of Maui where I live, you're expected when you drive down the street to wave at your friends. And here you're expected to wave at everyone. This is the downtown. The Clove Hitch Cafe. This was called Strawberry Point originally, and then Captain Vancouver came over here, George Vancouver, the same guy that brought cattle and potatoes and other things to Maui. He was up here, and he named this Point Adolphus. Well, about 60 or 80 years later, another fellow saw Adolphus and assumed that he meant the King of Sweden, who was Gustavus Adolphus, which I have no trouble remembering because my uncle used to be the dean of Gustavus Adolphus University in Minnesota. And so now it's called Gustavus. This area is all flat because it's what was left behind by the glaciers. And you have an unusual situation here because since the glaciers are gone, the ground is rising, not sinking. And the glaciers, you think, well, glaciers, what, a centimeter a year that they move over millions of years? No, some of these glaciers move 10 to 15 feet a day. It's incredible. So this is what was left behind. It started as homesteaders. Then President FDR put in Glacier Bay National Park and said no more homesteading land, which basically landlocked these people. And then, I forget, not that long ago, it was changed so everybody has their homestead, and it's a very happy place. Just makes you smile to be here. And you're about to get another treat. I'll show you later. So here's the Gustavus gas station. You have pump 1, mobile special gas. Pump 2, diesel. And Imperial number 1, stove oil. And this says 41.9 cents a gallon. Unfortunately, that's not the real price. Over this side, we have the machine for the credit cards. It took a little figuring to get this going. After you put your credit card in, it says to activate the pump, and you have to grab that handle and give it a good crank around to reset this. And I guess this means $16.70. And then when it says it's ready, you take the nozzle and put it in, and right here you pull that up, and that sets everything up, and then you're ready to go. For some people, it took a little doing.
27 years ago, there was was down by the post office, and Ken Yeoman, he was an old retired Park Service guy. He was the attendant. It was open 2 hours a day, once a week.
Yeah.
So everyone, that's where he met everybody. I first came there in a big long line, and you wait, and then he would pump it, and then I traded him some fish, I think, for a load for my first tank of gas.
Oh, that's great.
Then it moved down here, and they hooked up the card deal. But yeah, it used to be 2 hours a week, planned ahead.
That's well. There is a post office down.
Yeah.
Churches
Hey,
and
Lori.
all that,
Yeah, you just go, just follow Lori.
What do I do now?
Oh, you just
Yeah,
ask
show me where the post office is.
Post office. Just follow Lori that way. Yeah, you just about half a mile.
Why, do you need gas?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
This is kind of like the way. Like,
Uh-huh.
I have a place in Hilo, and I stopped, and then somebody stopped also, and then we had a beer,
Yeah.
and the next thing, it was lined up with people, and then I missed my flight back.
Oh, geez, yeah.
That could happen too.
That does happen. Lori. Go to the post office, it takes half a day.
Yep.
Yeah, you always bump into somebody.
That makes it nice.
Nice to meet you.
Richard, I'm Vince. Hey, you here for a while, or?
Today, tomorrow.
Oh, how'd you get here?
By the ferry
Oh, okay.
from Juneau. I never been to Southeast Alaska,
Oh.
so I flew into Ketchikan, and then went over to. I filmed there, and I'm filming for the Alaska-Yukon Rotary E-Club, which has meetings on the web.
Oh.
And I'd never been south of Homer.
Oh, I'll be
So I
there.
figured it's time, and so I went Prince of Wales, Ketchikan, and made programs on each place, and then Juneau, and now here. And I'm going to Sitka, and then I'm going for a big party in Anchorage.
Oh, wow. Well, that's cool. Well, it is totally different than the interior, farther north. It's a whole
Yeah,
other
is.
part of Alaska.
I misspoke. They do have a market here. They have mostly health food, and they have a deli that makes sandwiches and smoothies. Nice little place. I don't see the old timers out here though. Leslie, who runs the Anime Lodge, told me I really should go to the beach. And I think it's a couple miles down this path. Figured I should do it since it's not raining. This is certainly pristine country. And I see over here at the tree that there are some duck decoys. I guess the hunter just leaves them here until he wants to hunt again. It's delightful, by the way, as you walk this country and listen to the gulls and the ravens and the Canadian geese, which sometimes come in a whole gaggle and gaggling all the way. And right now there are cranes also that are flying over and stopping. Salmon in the grasses. In other words, this is bear country. And I got a primer on that. If it's a brown bear with the big hump on its back, then you make big noises and try to scare it away. And since my name in Vanuatu is Wawa Paluba, which means big uncle, which sounds to me like polar bear, I figure I can do that. But if he keeps coming up and hits you, you're supposed to fall down and play dead. But if it's a black bear without the hump, it has nothing to do with the color, then you're supposed to fight like hell because he intends to make a meal of you. This is another very Gustavus thing. There is one of these at the Anime Lodge, but this is next door. They have bicycles, and they tell you, take a bike, go where you like, no problem, don't have to sign up for them, just take a bicycle. As I stand here, remember I said a couple of 100 years ago, before George Vancouver came here, Gustavus was called Strawberry Point because of all the wild strawberries. And I'm noticing that the ground is covered with wild strawberries, but it's the wrong time of the year, so we don't have any fruit. But they are everywhere. You have to love this place. This is where I'm staying, at Anime Lodge on Grandpa's Farm Road. I just had to show this. I thought that's a cool name for a road. Same old road. You haven't lived until you've come to Glacier Bay. This is Bartlett Cove. In the off season when there's nobody here. Still pretty, and you don't have to fight with the tourists. Glacier Bay National Park is right by Gustavus, so I just got a car and drove out here. I'm also going to hope this is a picture of what I should be seeing. Should be mountains all around, but right now all I get is clouds all around. So we will check on this place for a couple of days. I'm going to come by here, I got today, tomorrow, and the next day, and check it out frequently, because the rangers said that there were 5 sea otters that came up to the shore and were playing around this morning. I'd love to get that on film. It's a porcupine. Really cute, but he might be showing me his tail, because that's how you get quills. You notice my hand isn't shaking as much because I'm not that far away. I love to see wildlife. I'm at Bartlett Bay right now, and it says in 1889 the Bartlett Bay Packing Company hand-packed 4,300 cases of salmon. And right across the way here is Lester Island. That's Lester Island. And there was a salmon packing company over there. And here is a picture in 1889 of the people drying salmon across the bay here. Amazing how things change, huh? This is a Tlingit canoe used to go, they would put household provisions in here, and they would go out and look for bird eggs and hunt seals and hunt salmon and collect berries and come home. And this is fascinating to me because the Hawaiians used an adze, A-D-Z-E, made of blue rock that was very hard and they could sharpen well to make their canoes, which is exactly what these people did. And there are lashings that hold these planks in place, the same as the Hawaiians had. Very interesting. Not like in Hawaii, though. Alaska has major tides, and they knew every good beach to make landfall with the tides, and when they went on these trips, they would stay for the whole summer and then come home. When they were ashore, they protected the canoes by burying them 2 feet deep in wet sand to keep the keels moist, because otherwise they would crack in the summer heat. What a difference a day makes, but still we can't see the Fairweather mountain range behind. The big mountains with the glaciers. This is adding insult to injury. This is the Sea Spirit that runs out of the lodge until September 6th. And you can go out for an all-day ride in Glacier Bay. And that's just the bad part about not being here during season. That looks like a pretty good job, U.S. Park Ranger. I still hope I'm going to get my chance to see the mountains tomorrow. Well, I'm catching a flight from Gustavus to Juneau, and I look and the sky is beautiful and you can see the mountains. I already turned in my car, except they said leave the key in the ignition, and the girl at the airport says, oh, go down here, turn here, and you can still get a picture of the mountains, and I'm so grateful. This is really nice. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Boy, they're loaded with snow. So that's Glacier Bay, the top half.